humble and prayerful salutations at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan, Sri Satya Sai Baba, Sri Ramanujacharya, and Sri Bhoodevi in the form of Andal, and Sriman Narayana in the form of Ranganatha, and all the great ones. We express our gratitude to Asha and Giri for enabling us to have this program today, the Goda Kalyanam or Andal Kalyanam Harikatha. We pray to the Divine that He should act through each and every one of us here by narrating, singing, playing, and listening to this program today. When we do Jaikar, we do it in Hindi or Sanskritam. But today, it is Andal who wrote so many pasurams in Tamil, so we will do it in Tamil. And so I just want to tell you the 3 ghoshams that we will do from time to time. And when I do it, please follow and join me. After then, we will all be immersed in this katha. So the first one is Acharyan Tiruvadigalé Sharanam. That means that we bow at the feet of the Acharya. Tiruvadi means lotus feet. Tiruvadigalé Sharanam means surrender. So the next one is Andal Tiruvadigalé Sharanam. Then the next one is Ranganatha Tiruvadigalé Sharanam. So we will be doing this Ghoshakara. So we will try it out one time. Acharyan Tiruvadigalé Sharanam. Acharyan Tiruvadigalé Sharanam. Today's katha is divided into 6 sections. In the first section, we will narrate, even though Andal was born roughly 5,000 years ago, according to the Vaishnava literature, why is it relevant for us to celebrate her in this day and age? In the next section, we will describe who the Alvars are and the unique place of Andal amongst all of them. In the subsequent section, we will introduce Sri Ramanujacharya and his contributions. In the next section, we will depict how Kodai grew up in Srivilliputtur and how she got transformed into Andal. In the subsequent section, we will describe how she did the Nombu, the fasting ritual, to reach the feet of the Lord. And finally, we conclude with how her dream of reaching Ranganatha came to fruition. So, why is it relevant for us to talk about Andal and her teachings today? Let's pause and think about what are the 2 growing global problems that humanity is facing. Of course, other than the screen addiction problem that all of us have. The first that one comes to my mind is rising temperatures, the global warming. Especially in the Bay Area, we feel very cheated that we paid a premium for the housing to enjoy the great weather, but the last couple of years, it has been very unpredictable weather for us. The second problem, I think, is lack of peace in the world. There is war between Ukraine and Russia that started a couple of years ago and still going on. And there is war between Israel and Palestine. And there is civil war going on all the time in the Middle East and Africa. Who else can we take the refuge from other than Mother Earth? Sakshat Bhoodevi, who is the most forbearant, compassionate, and merciful one. When Sriman Narayana incarnated as Varaga Bhagavan in the form of boar to rescue Mother Earth from the demon Hiranyaksha, Mother was trembling even after she was saved. Bhagavan lovingly held her very close to his heart and asked why she was trembling. Mother, with tearful eyes, replied, Bhagavan, I am so grateful that you are here to save me. But think of our countless children on earth who are suffering from the bondage of birth and death. Can you please prescribe a very, very simple solution that they can practice every day? Lovingly, Bhagavan gave her 3 steps. That Bhoodevi incarnated on earth as Andal to remind each and every one of us who we are. We are all the humble, divine servants, Paratantris. When our hands or legs don't listen to the mind, the brain, or the soul, we say our body is diseased or it's dysfunctional. Since we are all part of Bhagavan, if we don't follow instructions, then obviously we will be having all kinds of calamities. So Andal goes on to say, we can exercise our free will only to figure out how to please Bhagavan and how to do service, Kainkaryam, at his lotus feet. So what is the Kainkaryam that she's talking about? She's remembering what Varaga Bhagavan told her and says in the 5th Tirupavai, Mayanai Mannuvada Madurai Maindanai Vaayinal Paadi Manathinal Sindikka Thooyatham Malar Thoovith Thozhudu. She says, keep singing his glory, reminiscing his cheshtitams, his plays, his photo plays, his pastimes, and offer the flower of love and adoration to him. By doing this Kainkaryam, we get Trikarana Shuddhi, that is, our mind, body, and tongue gets purified. The thought, word, and deed alignment makes it possible. Once we have the purity, then we get the clarity that and understanding that we are all one. And so that leads us to the unity. From unity, we can reach divinity. And this is all possible because we would be one with not just the human souls, but with the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the angelic kingdom. Once we have the oneness, like how our body, hands and feet, and eyes and ears don't keep competing with each other, but coexist and harmoniously follow instructions, we will also be following instructions of Bhagavan. And that way, we can avoid all kinds of conflicts. Because we will have the respect and reverence for the nature spirits, we will not be abusing any of the natural resources given to us, and hence we will avoid having global warming. Dear brothers and sisters, this is exactly what Swami told us as well. He said, watch your action, thought, character and heart. He gave it in the acronym of WATCH. Once you watch yourself, the thought, word and deed alignment happens, and purity, unity and divinity happens. And then you are able to do love all, serve all. So many avatars have been speaking about the same thing, and that's what Andal told us as well. Recently, when I was in Bhutan, I experienced this. Whenever somebody has to build a house, then the government will allot a tree for them to take lumber from. And as soon as the tree is cut down, they would be planting so many different trees. Particularly this year, they have a goal to have 1 million trees planted. And because of this, Bhutan is one of the 2 countries which is known for its carbon negativeness. Do any of you know the second country which is also carbon negative? Any guesses?
Iceland? Is it Iceland?
No, it is Suriname in South America. Yeah. So those are the 2 countries, and I could see that even though everywhere else we are experiencing global warming, because of their respect to the nature, the effects are very, very minimal for Bhutan. So if we continue to do Kainkaryam, and if we continue to be in the oneness, then all our global problems can be easily resolved. Let's do Gosham for Acharyas. Acharyan Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Acharyan Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadikale Sharanam.
Bhagavan created all the Arvars, the ones that are deeply devoted to Lord Narayana, and showered them with bhakti and jnana, devotion and wisdom, with the sole purpose that they would be able to guide, coach, enlighten and uplift all the human souls from the bondage and liberate them. Our Vedas are written in Sanskritam, and very few of us understand that language. So the Arvars, with so much compassion, wrote their pasurams, devotional hymns, in the language of Tamil, and gave all the essence of all the Vedas. And they wrote 4,000 pasurams collectively, and this text is called Divya Nalayira Divya Prabandham. The Arvars are of 2 categories. The first 10 Arvars, Poigai Arvar, Bhudattarvar, Pei Arvar, Tirumalizai Arvar, Namma Arvar, Kulasekara Arvar, Peri Arvar, Tondaradippudi Arvar, Tiruppan Arvar and Tirumangai Arvar, believed God to be their Acharya. But the next category, Madhurakavi Arvar and Andal, believed their Acharya to be God. And for Andal, her Acharya was her own father, Nammar Periyarvar, and for Madhurakavi Arvar, it was Nammarvar. In the laudatory verse that Sri Manavada Mamnigal has written on Andal, he says, Andal is so special because Bhagavan not only accepted the flower garland that she offered, but he also rejoiced her 30 devotional hymns collection called Tiruppavai.
Annavayal Bhoodevi அரங்கற்கு பண்ணதிருப்பாவை பண்ணதிருப்பாவை சரி பகரி சூடி கொடுத்த சுடற்கொடியே தொல்பாவை பாடி அருளவல்ல பல்வளைய நாடி நீ வெங்கடவர்க்கென்னை விதி என்ன இம்மாற்றம் நான் கடவா வண்ணமே நல்கு நாம் கடவா வண்ணமே நல்கு.
Andal is special amongst the Alvars because of many reasons. The first one is, just like the Tulsi plant is filled with aroma from its birth, Andal was filled with devotion from birth. Secondly, among the Alvars, she is the only one who has taken the female body. So it is easy and effortless for her to be pining for the divine. When Nammalvar or Tirumangayalvar had to express that kind of emotion, they had to assume a persona, that is Parakala Nayaki or Parangusha Nayaki. And when Periyalvar had to be like the mother Yashoda, he had to assume that persona. But Andal could be her natural self and she could be longing for the divine. Thirdly, among the Alvars, nobody had any progeny. So, Andal inherited all of their wealth. So, what are the wealth for these saints? So, the first three Alvars, Poigayalvar, Peyalvar and Bhoodevi, gave the knowledge of Tamil to Andal. Tirunvalsayalvar very clearly explained the Parabrahman, the Supreme Being, to be Lord Narayana. Since Nammalvar was always in the quest for Krishna, the Krishna Trishna is what he gave Andal. Kulasekar Alvar was known for his respect and reverence to not only to Bhagavan but the devotees of Bhagavan. And Periyalvar taught her how to do Mangala Shasanam. What is this Mangala Shasanam? Whenever Periyalvar looked at Krishna's feet, he would be worried that Kamsa will be waiting to send a demon to get Krishna. So he would sing, Pallandu, Pallandu, Pallayiratandu. So this auspicious proclamation or benediction is called Mangala Shasanam. And Andal also did the same thing. And she said, Anri Vulaga Malandai Adi Potri, Kannukudila Virindai Kadal Potri, Kundru Kudaya Vidithai Gudam Potri, Vennu Bagaigadakkum Ninkayil Vel Potri, Yendrannun Sevagame Yetrit Parigalwan, Indriya Mandom Irangel Varambavan. So she praised Krishna when she asked him to come and sit on the throne, and he obeyed. And so she felt that his feet would have been hurt. So she praised him. So she got this Mangala Shasanam from him. Finally, Andal is unique because Bhagavan woke up all the Alvars. But Andal woke up Bhagavan to remind him that we are all his paratantris, his divine servants. Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Sri Ramanuja Acharya expounded the philosophy of Vishishtadvaitam, the philosophy of qualified non-dualism. He was not only a great philosopher, but he was a great social reformer. Born roughly 1,000 years ago, he declared, regardless of one's birth and social status, a true Vaishnavite is one who is devoted to Lord Narayana and adheres to his dharma. This opened up the access to so many people from different walks of life to be able to enter the temples and have Bhagavan's darshan. He not only enabled them to have access to Bhagavan, but he also made sure that according to their profession, they all got to do Kainkaryam, service. So, if you are a great cook, you could be serving in the Matapalli, in the kitchen, and serving prasadam for Bhagavan. If you are a cobbler, then you could be making sandals for him. If you are fluent in Vedas, then you could be chanting Vedas while the procession is going on. But if you are a milkmaid, then you could be offering buttermilk prasadam. Like this, he made sure that people of every occupation, every profession had some kainkaryam, some activity that they could do for Bhagavan. He also made sure that they were all honored once a year, regardless of what kainkaryam they did. Whether you are a pandit, or you are a cook, or a cobbler, or a washerman, or a milkmaid, they all got the same honor. Thus, he made sure that there was equality. When Ramanuja got the mantra, Ashtakshari mantra from his guru in Tirukoshtiyur, his guru forbade him from sharing that mantra and the essence of it with anyone. Ramanujacharya knew the consequence of his action, but he thought for a minute, if I share this, everybody is going to benefit and everybody is going to be uplifted. I'm the only one who is going to suffer the consequence. So he went up to the terrace of the temple, and whoever was gathered, with them he shared the essence of the mantra. Thus, he sacrificed himself to make sure that everybody else would be uplifted. Then, during the Panguni Utsavam in Srirangam, when Bhagavan said, Pongodam sur bhuvanim vinnulagam yam makkalitto, that is, I give you the key of Bhuloka and Vaikuntha, and anointed him as Vdayavar, and granted him also moksham. Ramanuja very gratefully accepted it, but asked that the followers of the Sharanagata Marga, the path of surrender, be granted moksham as well. And Namperumal assured him that all the devotees who follow the path of surrender will be granted moksham. Thus, Ramanuja lived his life with a focus on diversity, equality, inclusivity, and accessibility. The jargon that we hear again and again throughout, especially in all the political dialogues today. This Ramanujacharya, the one who is so compassionate, who is dressed up in ochre robe. In this laudatory verse, it is said that when we are in the presence of Ramanujacharya, we have nothing to worry about.
Kashaya shobhi kamane yasika nivesham. Kashaya shobhi kamane yasika nivesham. Dandatraya mujjvala करं विमल उपवीतं काषाय शोभे कमनीयशिखानिवेशम् गण्डत्रय उज्ज्वलकरं विमल उपवीतम् उद्योद्दिनेशनिभं पुलसतोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रम् उद्योद्दिनेशनिभं पुलसतोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं रूपं तवास्तु यतिराजदृशोर्ममाग्रे रूपं तवास्तु यतिराजदृशोर्ममाग्रे आशाय शोभे कमनीयशिखानिवेशम्
Ramanujacharya had special affinity towards Andal. As Madavada Mamanigal said, பாதகங்கள் தீர்க்கும் பரமனடி காட்டும் கோதை தமிழ் ஐந்தை வேதம் அனைத்துக்கும் வித்தாகும் கோதை தமிழ் ஐந்தும். Ramanujacharya understood that the essence of all Vedas were in the Tirupavai, and they would redeem us from all kinds of sins and obstacles and reach us to the lotus feet of Bhagavan. So he constantly chanted Tirupavai, and he was called Tirupavai Jiyar. It was him who made it part of Nityanusandhanam, the daily worship guidelines for every Vaishnavite, to be chanting all the 30 Tirupavais. When he found out that Andal's wish of offering 1,000 cauldrons of butter and akkara vadisal, the sweet pongal, was not fulfilled, he immediately went to the temple and offered the same. So he is called Goda Graja, Goda's brother, Andal's brother as well. Ramanujacharya wrote commentaries on Sri Bhashyam, on Brahma Sutram and Bhagavad Gita, and he wrote many more poems and proses. For all the contribution the Acharya has given, we can only fold our hands and in prayerful salutations be grateful to him and follow his teachings. Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganatha Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Periyalvar's original name was Vishnu Chittan. He was called Vishnu Chitta because he had Narayana in his heart all the time. And also, it is said that Narayana was very fond of him as well. This Periyalvar lived in Srivilliputtur, a town that is 45 miles away from Madurai in Tamil Nadu. He was doing Pushpa Kainkaryam, that is, offering the garlands to the local deity Vatapatra Shali. So he had a beautiful Nandavanam, the garden, flower garden. Every day he would wake up very early in the morning and pluck the flowers and keep chanting the Nama like the way Andal said, and would offer to the Bhagavan. It was the month of Adi, Ashadi, a Friday, and the star of Puram. As every day, Periyalvar went to the garden to pluck flowers. Somewhere he heard, "Kwa, kwa." He rushed to the place where he was hearing that noise from. And as he approached the Tulasi garden, he saw the earth split and an effulgent light emerge. And slowly, light faded away. The earth came back together, and he saw a newborn baby on the ground. His joy found no bounds. He picked up the baby and rushed to his wife. And both of them were so mesmerized by the charm and beauty of the little girl. She had curly hair, so they decided to call her Poongodai Kodai, and that changed to Goda in Sanskritam. Since Periyalvar was constantly integrated in the awareness of Krishna, he did all the activities with Kodai as though she was the little Krishna herself. He would sing lullabies to her.
மாணிக்கம் கட்டி வைரமிடை கட்டி மாணிக்கம் கட்டி வைரமிடை கட்டி ஆணி பொன்னாசை வந்த சிறுதொட்டில் மாணிக்கம் கட்டி வைரமிடை கட்டி ஆணி பொன்னாசை வந்த சிறுதொட்டில் தேடி உனக்கு நிறவன் வீடு தந்தாய் ஆணி குரலை தாரேலோ வைரமணந்தானே தாரேலோ வைரமணந்தானே தாரேலோ தாரேலோ கண்ணா
Like Nammalvar says, உண்ணும் சோறும் பருகும் நீரும் தின்னும் வெத்தலையும் யாவும் கண்ணன். Like that. For breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks, Kodai got the cheshtitams, the pastimes of Krishna. She was ever enchanted by these stories, and like little children wanted to hear them again and again and again. If we narrate all the pastimes of Krishna, we will be sitting here forever. So for today's katha, we will pick two relevant and significant pastimes. Periyalvar describes to Kodai how the Gopikas were selfless. After a hard day's work, the Gopikas, the milkmaids, would boil milk and waited for it to cool down a little bit so that they can drop yogurt in it to make yogurt for the next day. And the next day morning, in the wee hours, they will wake up, like Andal says in the Pasuram, Kichi Kichendram. காசும் பிறப்பும் கலகலப்ப கைபெயர்த்து வாசன அருங்குழல் ஆய்ச்சிய மத்தினால் ஓசைப்படுத்த தைரரவம் கேட்டிலையோ. So they would wake up and take the top of the cream line of the yogurt and put it in a pot and churn. As they are churning it, you would hear all kinds of noises from the ornaments that they are wearing. And if you think about it, Kodai got this confirmation that whatever Varaha Bhagavan said is what these Gopikas are practicing. They are churning for butter and they are singing the Nama. And they were always thinking about Krishna because all their hard work of making that butter after churning it for several hours, that little Krishna is the one he would steal the butter. Is it okay to say it as a stealing? Krishna owns everything, right? So Krishna would take away the butter from them. So they would be thinking about Krishna. So they would be doing Vaginal Padi Manathinal Sindika Thuya Malar Thuvithavide. So Thuya Malar Thuvithavide, they are churning the butter. After doing that, they would safely keep the butter. But Krishna was extremely skilled at finding out which house had fresh butter. So he would go house after house and take away the butter. And the gopis would be watching him, spellbound, mesmerized by his naughtiness. They wouldn't even know to chide him. The next day again, they would do the same thing. Wake up in the morning, churn, and keep the butter safely, only for Krishna to take away that butter. Goda understood that these gopikas got purified because of the three-step process of the Trikarana Shuddhi, as well as the fact that they did not get attached to the fruits of their labor. They were happily giving away the butter to Krishna. And they had no ego. They understood that everything was Krishna's. As their hearts got purified like butter, the thought of Krishna, the Krishna consciousness, stole away their hearts from the worldly desires. Chitta Chora Murali Wala, Chitta Chora Murali Wala, Nandalal Nanda Gopala, Another pastime that was close to Goda's heart was when Krishna told the residents of Vrindavan that they should really be paying respect to the Govardhana mountain. Because of the Govardhana mountain, the cows could graze, and because of the plants on it, they had enough rains and they were prosperous. But it was customary for them to do a puja for Indira, the Lord of the Devas. They could not do two of them, so they decided to go with whatever Krishna said and started the puja for Govardhana mountain. When Lord Indra found out about this, he unleashed torrential rains on the residents of Vrindavan. They had nowhere to go. They took refuge from Krishna. They went to Krishna and said, Krishna, you asked us to do puja for the Mount Govardhan, and that's what we did. We don't know what wrong we did, but now it's raining cats and dogs and we have nowhere to go. The ever compassionate Krishna, the little Krishna, lifted the big Govardhana mountain with his little finger and gave shelter to all the residents, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan for 7 nights and 7 days. Seeing this, Indira understood his folly and asked for forgiveness from Krishna and stopped the rain. During the 7 days, the residents of Vrindavan had such proximity to Krishna, such accessibility to Krishna, that they really did not want the rain to stop. After the rain stopped, Krishna put the mountain in its place, and the grateful residents of Vrindavan coronated Krishna as Govinda in Tirupavai in 3 places. Andal refers to this namam, this name. Narayana Tirthar in this song also talks about this episode.
Govardhana Giridhara, Govardhana Giridhara, Govinda Gokula Balaka Paramananda, Govardhana Giridhara, Govinda Gokula Balaka Paramananda, Govardhana Srivatsangita Sri Srivatsangita
From this, Kodai understood that Krishna is the sole protector and he is so easily accessible to anyone with a pure heart. Kodai was 5 years old, and it must have been customary in those days to have the child be married at that age. So the neighbors of Periyarvar approach him and ask if he is going to marry Kodai off. Kodai hears this and tells her father that if I ever marry, I will only marry Lord Krishna. Periyarvar, who is so immersed in Krishna Bhakti, did not discourage his daughter, but in fact he encouraged her feelings and bhakti for the Lord. Kodai must have seen a wedding where the bride and the groom exchange garlands, and so she thinks that if she is able to exchange a garland with the Lord, then she would become a couple with him. One day, like the bride, she beautifully dresses herself up and looks at her image in the well, and very pleased with her appearance, she wears the garland that her father has kept to be taken to the temple. And after wearing it, with prayer to Bhagwan, she keeps it back in the basket. Gopal, Gopal, Vrindavana Gopal. Nanda, Ananda, Govinda Gopal. Nanda, Ananda, Govinda Gopal. Gopal, Gopal, Vrindavana Gopal. Govardhanodhara Gopalana. Gopinarodhara Niranjana. Nanda, Ananda, Govinda Gopal. Nanda, Ananda, Govinda Gopal. Gopal, Gopal, Vrindavana Gopal. Without being unaware of all of this happening, Periyarvar takes the flower garland to the temple and gives it to the priest. The priest is about to adorn the Lord with it, and at that time he sees a strand of hair and he chides Periyarvar and says, "What apacharam? How can you make this mistake? Looks like somebody has worn this garland." Periyarvar feels miserable, takes the garland and rushes home. As he enters the house, he calls out to Kodai and says, "Kodai, how can you do this mistake, Ma? How can you wear the garland that is for Bhagavan?" He doesn't have any more time to have conversations with her. He rushes to the garden, plucks the flowers and makes another fresh garland, and again rushes to the temple and gives it to the priest. This time the priest examines very carefully, and now he's about to offer it to the Lord. And at that time the Lord speaks through the priest and says, "I don't want this garland. I only want the garland that Kodai wore." Hearing this is like honey to the ears of Periyarvar. He again takes his garland and rushes home and tells Kodai, "Amma Kodai, the day has come. From today onwards, you have to be called Andal because you have won over his heart." On hearing this, Kodai very happily jumps from her seat and picks the garland that she wore and gives it to her father. Now she's extremely happy. Periyarvar takes it back and gives it to the priest, and Bhagwan accepts the garland. Thus, from that day onwards, Kodai got transformed into Andal, and she knows that Bhagwan has accepted her Kainkaryam. Bhagwan is accepted as his humble divine servant. Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Andal Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganath Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Ranganath Tiruvadigale Sharanam.
Now then, Andal knows that it's a matter of time before she is able to be one with Ranganatha and serve him at his feet. She's figuring out, as a paratantri, as a humble servant, how she could please the Lord. Then she remembers the story of the Gopikas. Once they did a fasting ritual, Nombu, in prayer to Katyayani Devi to get rains for Vrindavan. And Lord Krishna presided over this whole observation of Nombu. So she knew that Krishna liked this. For her, she doesn't want anything else but Krishna's feet. So she decided to visualize this Nombu, praying to Krishna to reach Krishna's feet. The term Anukaram is used in Sanskritam. It is my humble translation that it is visualization. Today we are hearing research saying that visualization has the same effect, if not better effect, than actually carrying out the task. There's a lot of research done with players of different sports, particularly basketball, where there was a study conducted where one group of players were visualizing every day and the other group was just playing every day, and the another group was doing 50-50. And they found that the effect of somebody who was visualizing was on par with somebody who was playing. And of course, the combination of visualization and playing was much more. So Andal knew this. So she was visualizing. She was ready to visualize, but she understood that she was not in the same age as Krishna. She was not in Dwapara Yuga. She was in Kali Yuga. And she was not even in Mathura or Vrindavan. She was only close to the Ten Madurai, Srivilliputtur. So she assumed Srivilliputtur to be Vrindavan. She assumed all her friends to be the Gopikas of Ayapadi. The body of water, Mukkulam, to be the Yamuna river. The temple of Vatapatrashayi to be the house of Nandagopala. And Vatapatrashayi to be Lord Krishna. And she started gathering all her friends to observe this Nombu. And she, because of her devotion, came an outpouring of 30 devotional hymns, pasurams, called Thiruppavai. In the first pasuram, she's celebrating that she has found an auspicious day in the month of Margasirsham. That is very dear to Krishna, because in Bhagavad Gita he says, Masanam Margasirshoham. So in the month of Margari or Margasirsham, during the full moon, they are celebrating, they are beginning this observation of this Nombu. In the second pasuram, she describes the do's and don'ts of this Nombu or Vratam. She says, Neyyunno, Palunno, Natkale Neeradi, Mayittu Ezhudom, Malalittu Namudiyom, Cheyyadana Cheyyom, Thikkuralai Chendrodom, Ayyamum Pichayum, Andarayum Kaigatti, Uyumarani, Ugandelo Rambavai. We will not indulge in any sensual pleasures, such as drinking ghee or milk. We will wake up very early in the morning. We will bend our bodies, mend our senses. We will not focus on anything else. So we will not wear kajal, the eyeliner. We will not even wear flowers unless those flowers are given to us by Krishna. And we will not do anything our ancestors have not done. Particularly, we will not gossip about anything and anyone. Ayyamum Pichayum Andarayum Kaigatti. We will do all the activities that are prescribed in the Dharma Shastra. In the next pasuram, she thanks the residents of Srivilliputtur or Vrindavan for cooperating with them and letting all these small children observe this vratam. And she's praying to Bhagavan to bless Vrindavan to be a very prosperous place. In the fourth pasuram, Lord Varuna, the Lord of the Rains, is very pleased with these young children praying to Bhagavan and wanting to reach Bhagavan's feet. So he showers the rain and makes the place prosperous. In the fifth one, as we saw earlier, she says, Mayanai Mannuvada Madurai Maindane, Thuya Peranir Yamanai Thuraivanai, Ayar Kulathinil Thondrum Anivadakkai, Taye Kudalvadakkam Cheyda Damodarane, Thuyomai Vandanam Thumalar Thuvit Thuludu Vayinal Padi Manathinal Sindikka Poyapazhayum Pudaravan, Nindanamum Teenil Thusagum Cheppelo Bhavai. Because one of the Gopikas had this doubt. In Rama's time, Dasharatha, the mighty king, looked at all the auspicious times and consulted the great Acharya Vasishta and Vishwamitra for the coronation of Rama and came up with a date. But that coronation never happened. We are all very small children and we don't know anything other than butter, milk and buttermilk. How can we be sure that we will be able to do this observation? And how can we be sure that we can reach the feet of Krishna? Then Andal says, as Varahamurti pointed out to her, if we think of the Lord all the time and reminisce in his pastimes and offer the flowers of garland to him, then all the sins that we have committed and all the obstacles will just like that vanish away in fire as dust. So these are the 5 introductory pasurams, and in the next 10 pasurams she calls the devotees of the Lord one by one and taking them along with her. Then in the 16th through 20th pasuram she calls the doorkeeper, the Dwarapalaka, the Kshetrapalaka, the groundkeeper, and Nandagopala, Yashoda, Balarama, and Napinne, the consort of Krishna. She wakes them up and she takes their permission before reaching Krishna. The 21st Pasuram, she is now talking to Krishna and asking for his help for the observation of this vratam. And then she's asking him to get up from his sleep and sit on the throne. In the 24th Pasuram, she does Mangala Shasanam to him because the benevolent and the easily accessible Bhagavan absolutely adheres to her request and comes and sits on his throne and gives her darshan. And from the 25th Pasuram onwards, she is having conversations with Krishna. In the 25th Pasuram, she asks him to give them all the paraphernalia that is needed for them to successfully complete the Nombu. And Krishna also grants them that. Then she says, Kudare Vellam Sir Govinda, Undanai Padi Paregundu Yamperum Sammanam, Nadupugalum Parisana Nandraga Chudagame, Todpadaye, Tode Sevipuve, Padagame, Yandanaya Palgaranum Yamanivom, Ade Udupom, Adan Pinne Palsor, Mudane Pay the Murangai Varivara, Kudi in the Kulindelo and Babai. This is one of the favorite pasurams in the month of Margari because this is when you get Akaravadisam, the sweet pongal. So now that they have seen Krishna, they are wearing beautiful ornaments and deck them up very nicely, and they are indulging themselves in the sweet pongal. And in the next 2 pasurams, she does Sharanagati to Bhagavan. Karavegal Pinchendra Kanam Sendunbom, Arivundram Illada Aikulathu Undanai Peravi Perandane, Punyam Yamudayom, Kurevundram Illada Govinda, Undanod Rave Namakingu Orika Variad, Ariada Peleganom, Anbinan, Undanai Chirbe Aritanum, Syria Rade, Ireva, Nitara Parayelo and Baba. She says, we are all small children and we are all these gopikas. We don't know anything. We don't know anything other than buttermilk and buttermilk. We don't know any shastram. We don't know bhakti. We don't know jnanam. But the only thing that we have is you came and incarnated as Yadava. So we have you. So Govinda, we have your feet. We are prostrating at your feet. And please give us the opportunity to do Kainkariam. In the next Pasuram, she says, Chitran Chirigale Vandunne Chevithu, Un Potramare Potum Purulhelai, Petramai Tundum Kulatil Pirandi, Ni Kutreva Lengalek Koldamar Pohadi, Itrek Parigulvan and Rigan Govinda, Etrekum Yer Peravicum Mundan Nod Trome Hamo, Unake Nama Chemo, Matrinam Kamangal Machelo and Baba. She says, we have come to take refuge We are asking for Kainkaryam only. We don't want anything else from you. Forever, we should be given the opportunity to do Kainkaryam at your feet. And finally, in the 30th Pasuram, she says, Mangak kadal kadainda madavane kesavane tingal tirumugathu cheliya sendirenji anga paregonda aatrai animaduvai paingamalar thanderiyal pattabiran kodai sonna sangat tamil malai 30 tappame ingu ipparisuraippan irirendu malvareithol chengan tirumugathu chelvat tirumalal engum tiruvarul petrin guruvarembavai. Now she is done with her visualization as a gopika. Now she's the daughter of Pattarbiran, Periyalvar. As Kodai, she speaks and says, whoever does the Nombu like the Gopikas, or whoever does the Vratam like visualization or emulation like Andal herself, or anyone who knows to chant these 30 Tirupavais, will absolutely receive the grace from Krishna. Thus, she completes her Vratam, and now she is looking for other things that she could be doing because still she has not heard anything from Krishna. As she is sitting and reminiscing all the pastimes of Krishna, a cuckoo bird flies by. She's looking at the cuckoo bird and saying, Cuckoo, can you please go to Krishna and tell him that I'm waiting for him? As the bird flies away, up in the sky, she sees these black clouds. Then she calls those clouds and says, where are you going? My eyes are filled with so much tears that you can take these tears and make rain out of it and go and shower it on Tirumala. And when that Govinda asks you, how come this rain is warm and not cold? Tell him that this is from Andal's tears. Please ask him to get me right away. Still no call from Krishna. She is beautifully visualizing his form, and she sees the conch, the Panchajanya, and she calls up to the conch and says, oh, Panchajanya, I don't think the aroma of camphor or the beautiful fragrance of the lotus flower can come anywhere close to your aroma, because you've been sitting on Krishna's sweet lips. Your lips, anyone touching you also should be able to feel the sweetness. described her dream where she's visualizing, she's got the dream of every single ritual that is performed in a wedding. And Periyarvar is very excitedly listening to Andal, and now he assures her that truly the time for her to reach Lord Ranganatha's feet is very, very soon. Acharyan Tiruvadigalе Sharanam. Andal Tiruvadigalе Sharanam. Ranganatha Tiruvadigalе Sharanam. Before we conclude with the final section, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Bhagwan for giving us this beautiful opportunity to be in satsang with all of you. And that too, originally this program was scheduled for June 30th. And if we had done it on the day, the Ashadi Masam, the Adi Masam, wouldn't have even begun. And Bhagwan wanted this program to be close to the Adi Puram, which is on the 7th. So as we observe all the festivals on the weekend, he wanted us to observe Andal Kalyanam on this day, I guess. So we are very grateful to Bhagwan for giving us this opportunity. Next, we would like to thank Asha and Giri for giving this home to us, for us to be able to do this. And I have to personally thank Giri's mom, Kalyani Mami, who actually planted the seed to do the katha. But we apologize for offering this program much later. And we would like to thank Verdakudi Ranganathan Swamigal, Verdakudi Krishnan Swamigal, Tushyan Swamigal, and Vishaka Hari for us to have the source to draw from. And if there is any mistake in the way in which I have conveyed the story, it's all mine. So please forgive me for that. And we would like to thank all the volunteers. We'll start with the volunteers of the altar, decoration, and the backdrop. And then we would like to go to people who contributed to Tulsi plant. Today, every one of you will be able to take a Tulsi plant with you. And we thank all the volunteers who made it possible for us to do that. And the next one is for all the people who contributed to the prasadam. Particularly, I would like to call upon the two young girls, Trishika and Mihira, if they are here.
Yes.
They very sweetly, when I first told them about this program, we were having a casual conversation. And I don't know how the conversation went about. They talked about some lemonade that they were doing for summer or something like that. Then I said, what about this program? They said immediately, the girl said, yeah, I think I have enough money to do this. And I will make sure that it is all lemons that are grown from our yard. And I will not use sugar because it's not good for the body. I will make sure that I use pure honey. And if Trishika and Mihira, if you are here, please stand up.
Yes, they are. And Sunali, thank you for your encouragement.
Yeah, no. Andal would be absolutely pleased with the little ones. Then we would like to, of course, thank all the volunteers who made it possible for us to have the prasadam as well. And of course, finally, all of you. Without all of you here, it will not be a satsang. So thank you, and we will proceed to our conclusion so that we can be in the awareness of Krishna as we conclude the program. And I think after the program, we will have Harti for Swami and then the prasadam. Yeah. Andal is eagerly awaiting Krishna's arrival to ask for her hand in marriage. She is thinking about the temple of Srirangam. And she's completely immersed in that temple. She's thinking about all the praharams, all the great saints that went to the temple. And she's longing to go to the temple. Somebody comes in looking for Periyarvar and says, Ranganatha has sent a palanquin for Andal. On hearing this, Andal rushes out of the house. This is the day she has been waiting for. She alights the palanquin and along with Periyarvar, she goes off to Srirangam. Here, it's a long travel for her, but the excitement definitely closed in on the time that she is traveling. She crossed the South Kaveri and stopped at the south entrance of the temple, went into the Chitra Vidhi. There are 7 rectangular enclosures, so she's crossing one after the other. The first one is the Chitra Vidhi, the next one is Thiruvikraman Vidhi, the next one is Agalankan Vidhi. As she's approaching Thirumangai Manan Vidhi, her heart is beating really fast. Then she's going to Kulasekara Vidhi, then Rajamahendra Vidhi, and finally a Dharma Varma Vidhi. And as she approaches the final one, she's circumambulating the 24-pillared Gayatri Mandapam and arrives at the gold-plated Thirumanathoon, the wedding pillars. She's standing in front of it and she's about to cross the Kulasekara Padi and enter into the Garbhagraham with such deep devotion to Bhagavan. She's praying to take her to do Kainkaryam at his feet. Vanamali Radha Ramana Giridhari Govinda. Vanamali Goda Ramana Giridhari Govinda. Neela Megha Sundara Narayana Govinda. sanctum sanctorum and touches Lord Ranganatha's feet and disappears. Periyarvar tells Lord Ranganatha, I raised this girl as Mahalakshmi. I am so happy that at last she reached your feet. Then Lord Ranganatha, sensing the desire of Periyarvar to reach his feet also, says, you please go to Srivilliputtur and do Kainkaryam for Andal and me there, and your time will also come soon. Periyarvar, who's always in Krishna consciousness, follows the instructions of Lord Ranganatha and returns to Srivilliputtur and continues to do his Kainkaryam, awaiting his day.
தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, கண்ணன் தெருவிலே பெண்கள் போயாத தொல்லை, தீராத விளையாட்டு பிள்ளை, தெருவிலே பெண்கள் போயாத தொல்லை,
Yeah.
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविर् ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना अहं वैश्वानरो